What's going on, everybody? Doc from Average Gamer Guys back yet again into some of the new update. Today we're going to be showing off the Triumph crate, exactly what's all inside of it. Hopefully a lot of you have seen this already. Update came out yesterday. I did some grinding to grab a crate or two of these and just want to show the items off and just kind of talk about them and honestly get some of your feedback. So that's what today's episode is going to be about. We're going to jump right in. We're just going to take a look right at the crate. And I'm going to be honest with you, this update, really happy with it. Overall, I think the tournaments mode is really cool. We've talked about that. Sloth did a really nice update video the other day. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But because to be honest with you, this was a really big update for the game. I mean, we're talking a new mode. We're talking a new crate. We're talking just a bunch of stuff like quality of life improvements. Honestly, like the new inventory management, stacking items, all that kind of stuff is kind of a game changer. It seems so simple that they couldn't have done some of the stuff earlier, but the fact that we all now all finally have it is really nice. It's going to make trading a whole lot easier. Honestly, car customization has just gone up like tenfold because you get the additional colors for the color palette. So honestly, I'm really stoked about the update. The one thing I'm not stoked about, well, really there's two things. I'm not a huge fan of this crate. I'm going to say that up front. So as I'm going through this, I sound a little more negative than usual. I'll kind of talk why I don't like each of these items, but I'm not the biggest fan of this crate, although I do think it has one or two items in it that kind of save it and still make it really valuable. And obviously there's always things to go for. I think the other reason that I'm kind of still disappointed in it is I've been seeing a lot of feedback on Reddit and a couple other places. I mean, I played pretty consistently last night, and I was able to pull one. I know there's two in my inventory. I traded for one earlier. I was only able to pull one of these yesterday. They haven't retired any crates. Nothing is out of the rotation, and so getting these crates is even harder. I think I ended up getting 4 or 5 crates last night over the course of the time that I played. One was a Spring Fever, one was a Victory crate, one was a Triumph, and I think I got like a Velocity or something, or so I wish, and I know they have said it, Psyonix has said it before, that they want these to be rewarding to get. I 100% agree with them. I want them to be rewarding. I just don't understand with the Spring crate out, and I know that's a short-term thing, but with the Spring crate out and a new crate, why some of the older crates haven't been retired. Get rid of some of the other stuff. Honestly, I love Nitros, but I think it's time for the Nitros to go. And some of the other ones. Velocity, we really don't need. I wish they would just keep it a little bit more current, and honestly, the drop rate could just be better. I mean, I agree with them that I want the excitement there. When I get one, I'm like, yeah, I got a crate. I don't want it to be like every other game. I'm like, oh, cool, I got a crate. Oh, cool, I got another crate. But honestly, it shouldn't take me, 10 hours to get one of these. And that's not exactly how long I played yesterday, but I played for a good period of time. And it took me a while to get the first one, and then again I have to trade for the second one. I feel like they could be a little bit more, even for the first couple of days. I'm crossing my fingers. It's not going to happen, but I'm crossing my fingers that this weekend to kind of finish out the event and to kind of promote the crate and promote the update. Maybe we'll get a double drop rate weekend, which we'll see more of these crates in circulation. Because honestly, with a lot of these items, for me, I want to open the crate. Getting the crate is cool, but to be honest, you need a quantity of them if you're going to open them to get some of the items that you want, unless you get really lucky on the first crate and you get the one item that you really want. So I still think they could look at the formula. I think they could be a little bit more beneficial, but honestly, they could just retire some of the crates. But enough of the negativity. Let's get into the crate. I'm sorry about that. I just had to give my honest, you guys know me, I have to give my honest opinion up front. So I just want you guys to see where I'm coming from. So we got a couple of decals. We've got this Animist Gp Decal, the NNTR. Honestly, this crate feels a little weird to me. Feels kind of like an Egyptian mix for some of the decals, and then we get like kind of like a space theme as we go back. So I'm not really sure how to feel about it. This one's not too bad. I don't mind this decal. I don't understand. This is Centio decal. What I don't get about this is why we keep seeing the same cars with the same decals. I mean, I think the Sentio's been given quite a bit of love in the last couple of crates, and I know there's not a lot of painted options for a lot of these cars, but like, where's the werewolf skin, for instance? Like, you know what I mean? I guess that's the other hang up I have with this crate. We get an Animist Gp Decal, which again, people use. This is actually pretty neat. I do kind of like this one, but again, it's not as popular of a car as some of the other options. And I just think giving a little bit of love to the last crate's import car would have been a good move. We do get another Yeager skin. Again, we saw the Yeager. I think we saw the Dom. Maybe not the GT version, but we saw the Sentio in the Spring Fever crate. So again, it's just giving a little bit of love, I guess, between a lot of the different import bodies, and they do have a lot to choose from. So I'm sure that's pretty hard. This one's pretty cool too. I don't mind this one a whole lot. I'd be interested to see kind of what gets painted on these. This one's actually really neat. I think this one's going to be one that people like quite a bit. The Royal Tyrant for the Octane. Obviously, they got to start giving this car a bunch of love because it's the most used car in the game. So this one's pretty cool. I do like it. It's pretty simple, but again, it seems like some of the more simpler ones seem to be the ones that people like the best. We really get the Octane a lot of love. We get this Dot Rush. They have been doing an awesome job with these very rare animated decals in the last couple of crates. I mean, look at Kaleidoscope. I know that wasn't the import level, but you've got this, you've got Octane Dot Rush, you've got Kaleidoscope. I mean, it's just, they've done a really good job with these, and I'm impressed, honestly. I mean, even Octane ripped comic from the Victory crate was really, really cool. I know that wasn't animated, but they're finding their groove with this car, and this is one of those things, like, if I pulled this, I'd be really happy, especially if I'm, newer into the game and didn't have an expansive inventory. I mean, an animated decal at the very rare slot is a really, really smart idea. So I really like this. We get the liftoff banner, which I think is like one thing that people are just clamoring for. We had the winning streak banner from RLCS, which is really neat. I love it. But people were like, why is it the Dom? Why isn't it the Octane? Well, here you go. You got yourself your Octane banner, and it's really cool. I like just a little bit of motion on it. These aren't super crazy, but I think that's what's most appealing, at least to me, about them, is they're pretty simple, but they definitely have a cool, kind of unique flair. So something I'll be looking for. Then we get into these wheels. How do I say this without sounding super bad? I just don't like these. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that they're too simple. I guess I'd be curious to see what gets painted. I'm assuming it's the silver part. I really don't know. The other problem with these is they remind me a little too much of the Lustrum wheels from the Spring crate. I guess that's kind of what I look at. It's kind of got like that 5-pedal feel to it. They're not terrible. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of these. I know they're in the very rare spot, so they're going to give it traded up. But to be honest, I feel like our last couple of very rare wheels have done really, really well. I mean, the Gaydens were really well received. The Nippers, although the name was really dumb, those were really well received and a really clean wheel. These, I feel like they got away with that from that a little bit. These are a more full face wheel, which might be the other reason I'm not as big of a fan of them. Where some of those other ones were definitely had more like spokes in them. So maybe that's what's kind of tripping me off these. Just, I guess, not a huge fan. Not really sure why. The EKG OMG, I like this. I think this is really cool. Again, one thing that I've talked about a lot, especially as the past couple crates have come out, is they need to vary up the colors on the trails. This is a good way to do it. This one's not too crazy. It's simple. It's 2 lines. I really like this. I'm kind of hoping I can pull one, and it looks good. I mean, look with the green car. It matches perfectly, especially now with 2 painted car bodies of the same type on different presets. I mean, we got to have more color options, and I think the last real area to kind of improve that and give some good options is in the trail department. So, but I do like this one. That's pretty cool. The Samurai. This thing's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. The import cars, they've done a really, really good job over the last couple of crates with, and I think they hit it out of the ballpark on this one again. The one thing I think they keep doing, which kind of downplays the painted car portion. Obviously, right around the windshield, the trim on the bottom, the trim kind of like right there in the center, you'll be able to see, and then the bottom, and you get a little bit of the front fender, I guess. I think that's probably, my one complaint with these is some of the other ones are a little bit easier to see when they're painted. But beyond that, I mean, this is a really cool looking car. I just like it. I think it's neat. And again, I think they've done a good job, really done a good job with these over the last couple of crates. Now we get into these import wheels. Man, I think it might be, from what I said from the previous very rares, I think it's just because these are a full face wheel that I'm not a big fan of. Obviously, these being painted, I'm assuming the yellow portion is painted. I do like the tread. I like that little tread line. I think that's really cool. These look like kind of like weird spaceships to me is kind of what I was thinking about when I saw them. And I don't know, they're not for me. I think they're neat. I think they're definitely better than these wheels, and they should be because they're import, but I don't know. The wheels are not striking me for this crate, I guess, for the entirety of it. But not bad. Again, painted, I think these could be pretty cool. You get them in crimson, and that stuff kind of pops a little bit. I think that'd be pretty neat. But I think it's just the full face of the wheel that I'm not the biggest fan of. Obviously, no motion or anything like that, which would be kind of cool. But I don't know. That's my thoughts. I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts because I'm not the only one. We get this Comma import rocket boost. This is pretty neat. These, I was talking with Sloth a little bit. It seems like they struggle with these a little bit because a lot of these feel like reskins. I know that's not the case. I do feel like we've gotten the same kind of color combinations pretty frequently in the past. I think definitely the Victory or the Velocity crate had a kind of blue and purple based rocket boost. So this isn't bad. I don't mind the sound on it. Definitely painted versions. Painted versions for me on these are always what the deciding factor is, though. So I'll need to see some of the versions of them painted, see kind of what color combinations they put together. I think painted versions of this could be pretty cool. It's a pretty full boost at the back and then kind of chills out, which isn't bad either. I don't mind it. It's not great. It's not terrible. It is pretty cool. Like I said, painted version will be the one thing that tells the most. So now we get into the good stuff. We get into the exotic Reverb wheels. These I don't absolutely hate. I love the tread. This tread pattern is super cool. We get this really neat animation on it. I really like that. The front of them, not as much. Not as big of a fan of these. I don't know if it's kind of that piece that they have going over the front of it, or what it ends up being that kind of throws me off. Although I do really like the motion pattern on it. I think are really cool. These were the wheels that got talked about in the kind of release notes for the crate, and obviously we saw a still picture, which I think probably jaded me a little bit. But now that I can see, actually see the motion on them and all that kind of stuff, I do like them. I think they're pretty neat. Definitely colored versions, depending on how they kind of pop, will be really cool. But not the worst wheel in the game. Definitely not the best. But not a bad addition to the exotic category for wheels. Then we get these Hypnotic Wheels, which I don't know how I feel about them. I think painted versions could be absolutely brutal. I've heard, and I have not seen a picture, but I've heard that these do come in black, which could just black these out, which would be really, really sweet. We don't get a whole lot of tread detail, but I think I'm okay with that with the pattern on the front. I'd have to see these. I don't think I would use these on a cobalt car or a blue car. But I guess painted versions, again, painted up versions for me always kind of seal the deal. Again, I don't mind the animation. I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely an interesting idea. Not similar to the Infiniums, but we get kind of that Infinium vibe with some motion and stuff inside of them. So again, not hating on these. I think the exotic wheels, not terrible. I honestly couldn't tell you which ones I like better. I think the Reverbs, honestly, but I think that's just because they're a little bit more simple, clean. These are a little bit more crazy. But like I said, some of the painted versions of these could be absolutely sick. So let me know what you guys think. Overall, that's the general crate items that everybody's gonna see, and hopefully see some different painted versions. We get into the black markets, and again, I think they did a good job here. Although the recycling of stuff, specifically with Stormwatch right off the bat, I don't know how I feel about. Although we did get kind of blessed with the last victory crate with 3 black market decals. So I'm not mad to see this. I just wondered why Stormwatch came back. They obviously have all the data, so it'd be interesting to see. It might be the most equipped one of the 3. I really don't know. I do use it a lot. I really like Stormwatch, but I think Chameleon's probably a little bit more well received, at least in the market, and it seems like people like that one a little bit better. Obviously, not putting it in the following crate is a good idea, because then it kind of keeps it more rare. So I can understand that perspective of it. But I just kind of wonder what their thought process is, because we also get the Toon Goal Explosion, which, again, personally, I'm a huge fan of this. This is a Goal Explosion I use on everything. I love it. But I know a lot of people didn't really like this one because it's kind of simple and it's cartoony. So if you're not a big fan of that, you don't like this. But again, we see 2 of them being kind of redone. Again, I'm not mad about that because it gives more options. Although if you hit a black market and I was to hit either one of these 2 in this new crate, I would definitely be disappointed. Obviously, you got a really good item that you could trade, but not comparatively to the 2 new ones. So I think this is a trend we'll continue to see. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in future crates they'll do a little bit more like they did last time, where we get like a 3-to-1 type deal. Just interesting to see. But 2 and 2, I think, is the perfect division between Goal Explosions and black market decals. At least we're getting both, and we get a new one with the atomizer for the Goal Explosion. I really like this one. I think this is really cool. Definitely kind of like a sci-fi-ish feel. I really like the sound of it. I think the sounds for a lot of these, especially on the Goal Explosions, are absolutely huge. And they do a nice job with this one. This one's really, really neat. So I do like this. I think this is definitely a good addition. I think this is going to rival some of the other ones. I think the only problem people will have with this is it might be a little too close to Polypop. It's definitely obviously not the same, but it's kind of similar. I think I like this one better than Polypop, although I do really like Polypop. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the market and what everybody out there thinks, and what you guys think in the comments. And then we get this, the Dissolver. This thing is the sole reason why I want to open these crates. I think they did an absolute awesome job with this. This is probably, of the newest black markets from the last crate and this one, this is definitely my favorite one for sure. I think this has the opportunity, at least on Xbox, and you guys, if you're watching this, are probably, some of you at least are Xbox fans. The trading market on Xbox is run by the Heatwave. That is like the standard, top tier trading item, and what gets you the most capability to trade. I personally think this has the chance to kind of combat that a little bit. I think you're going to see a lot of people go to this. I think for me, the one reason I like this more than the Heatwave is it's not as defined lines across the car. So I think the color options are going to be really cool with this. And I just like the flow and the pattern of it. You get a really cool flow and pattern. Obviously, it kind of tails out near the back of the car, which I think some people are not going to like. But I personally do. I just think the motion on this thing, the animation, it's just awesome. I think they did a really, really cool job. And this is one of those that I think the way they've wrapped the body and the way they have the motion will look good on just about every single car. I'll be interested. I sincerely want to get one. I'm sure the price on these is just absolutely astronomical at this point, since the crate's only a day old. But maybe we'll be able to get lucky. Who knows? Really, really like this. I think they did a really nice job with these 2 black markets. Like I said, the rest of the crate is kind of for me. Like I said, probably not the biggest fan of these 2, although painted versions, we'll see, could do really cool on this with painted versions. Kind of dependent. Really do like the import body. I think that's cool. We got a really neat banner and a good very rare trail, definitely to add to the stack. And the customization options. And then honestly, if you looking for something a little bit more simple, You know, you got Dot Rush and Royal Tyrant for those Octane users out there. Overall, I like the crate. I definitely think the 2 black market options make this worth opening and make this worth grabbing up a bunch of them and trying to get some of these items. Beyond that, you know, let me know what you guys think, sincerely. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. Sorry I talked. I've been just kind of rambling, but I've got a lot of thoughts on this crate, I guess, and definitely did want to show it off and kind of let everybody know what's going on out there. So definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think about the items, what you think about Dissolver and Atomizer and the rest of the wheels and items in the crate. I also want to hear what you guys think about the actual update. Like I said, I think it's a big update, definitely an update that this game needed, and just a lot of quality life improvements that I don't think got highlighted a whole lot, although we did our best. And I think that's going to be a big game changer for a lot of things. And I think tournaments, as that picks up steam, is going to be a really, really neat feature in the future. So let me know. Doc from Average Gamer, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and checking the video out. If you are new, please do make sure to subscribe. We're going to try to get some more content and some stuff up in the very near future. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.